Hey guys, this is a recap of week 4 of our Secrets series, and this week we're talking about how arrogance is just insecurity on steroids, right? We already talked about insecurity as something that doesn't go away as you get older. If you feel you're really terrible at something or you're not good enough, it's just going to get worse the older you get, so you should deal with it now. But the flip side of that is, no matter what age you are, if you feel insecure, sometimes you cover it up by being super arrogant and acting like you are amazing. You find that sometimes the most arrogant people, the people who look so sure of themselves or think they're super awesome on the inside, are actually some of the most insecure people. Remember we showed that video when we talked about insecurity last time about that model who talked about how most of the models she knows are the absolutely most insecure people about their bodies, which is crazy because everybody looks at them and like, wow, you're amazingly beautiful. But they're on the inside saying, oh my gosh, I'm really ugly, right? But they act like it in front of everyone else, and they act like they think they're amazing, but really deep down when they're just by themselves or they're just with friends, they know that they're really insecure about it. So, you can tell if people are too arrogant by a few things, right? Like they walk around and they think they're really cool. They talk bad about other people. They spread lies and rumors to make other people look worse so that way they look better, right? That's how you know people are arrogant. And why do you think they really act arrogant? We already talked about it. It's because they're insecure and it's a way to cover it up. So, God talked in Psalm 101, and he said that he cannot stand arrogance and pride. He says because it makes you a liar and it shows that you're wicked, and I don't want anyone like that working for me. He literally says, I want salt of the earth people who will be humble and do what they need to do and not puff themselves up. He's like, those are the people who are going to be working with me, not people who lie about other people and are prideful about how awesome they are, right? God says there's no room for that. Remember how we talked about Solomon too. Solomon wrote in Proverbs that arrogance and pride are just plain sin. He said they're distinguishing marks in wicked people. He's like, if you want to know if someone's bad or not, if they're arrogant and prideful and think that they have everything together and that they're better than other people and that they're always right, they're a wicked person. He's like, that's how you tell every time. It's a distinguishing mark, just like having red hair is a distinguishing mark of a red-haired person. Okay, that didn't make sense. Don't worry about it. We'll keep moving on. But often our culture looks up to and rewards people who are super prideful. Think about Kanye West, just saying, or most football players or basketball players, right? Like we look at those people and we're like, oh my gosh, we could just be like them, they're so cool. But they're not. They're really insecure on the inside, right? But the reason I think that we reward that we look to people who show arrogance and pride and look like they have it all together is because we want to think we can have it all together. If we see another person who looks like they have it all together, we're like, you know what, maybe I could do that too. But it's just a trap, right? We want to feel strong enough to be able to handle or fix anything that goes on in our lives, but in all honesty, we're not. So what's the best way, do you think, to fight against arrogance in our own lives? If it's such a bad thing, if it's something that God says, I don't want you working with me, what can we do to get rid of it, to fight against it? James, Jesus' brother, wrote this in a letter that he wrote to a bunch of Christians. He says, God gives strength to the humble, but sets himself against the proud and the arrogant. So give yourselves humbly to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Do you catch that? Not only do we have to be humble, God gives strength to that. But he says being humble to God helps you resist the devil, right? It's not about you being strong enough. It's about being humble before God and knowing that God will be strong for you. That's awesome, right? This is Satan's oldest trick, getting us to be arrogant and prideful and think that we're awesome. He did it to Adam and Eve. He used it to get them to commit the first sin, right? He got them to believe that they would be better rulers, better judges of their own lives, that they would be smarter and stronger than God if they just ate this apple, right? He's like, God doesn't want you to know this stuff because He knows that you would do a better job taking care of your own life than he would. He wants to run everything, but he's just crazy. He's like, but you guys, Adam and Eve, you would be amazing at running your own lives. You should just do it. Don't listen to God, right? And they fell for it. And guess what? It was wrong when they believed it. It was a trap then. It's wrong when we believe it. It's a trap right now. So I just want you guys to know that if you humble yourself before God and don't think that you are the center of the universe, that you're the most amazing thing, if you can say, hey, I was wrong about that to somebody, if you can ask for forgiveness from somebody, it's going to go a long way in making you the kind of person that God wants to use to change this world and make it a better place. So I love you guys. Pray you have an awesome week. God bless.